Taiwan has one of the fastest aging populations in the world, on the brink of becoming what the World Health Organization calls a super age society. That's when 20% of citizens are age 65 and above. But the country is far from an exception among developed economies. As lifespans go up and fertility plummets, are we ready to deliver proper care to our growing cohort of elders while preserving their dignity and independence? And how much of that can be handled by technology? I'm Tomasz Koper, and this is Connected on Taiwan Plus. To show us how tech innovations can help tackle these complex and difficult problems, we welcome from Toronto, Ilia Borishchev, the founder and CEO of Vibraint, a Canadian neuro-rehab startup building a brain-controlled rehabilitation robot for patients with severe mobility loss. And joining us from Taipei, we have Chen, the founder and CEO of LongGood Meditech, a Taiwan-based company which created gamified rehab software used to help stroke survivors as well as patients living with Parkinson's and dementia. Ray, I want to start with you here. Your company introduced gamified rehabilitation software to Taiwanese hospitals nearly a decade ago. What is your software? What is your product trying to achieve? And what kind of changes have you seen in this space over that period of the last 10 years?
Sure. Thank you for the question. So the main purpose of this solution is that we found that rehabilitation or doing exercise process is very tedious and it will overcome the change in the pain from the body. So the first thing and the most important thing is to increase the motivation and also increase the compliance. So we started from the Gamified to increase their motivation, group activity, and peer competition. And also a lot of factors added into the gamified content that has more people that are willing to start to do rehabilitation or do the group activity to bring more fun. And they will not find it's a boring process, it's a taste. Instead, it was the process they are willing and looking forward to do.
Well, Ilia, Vibraint's technology combines many different disciplines. We have brain-computer interfaces, robotics, and VR. How does it all come together to help patients?
Well, technically that is not easy to put all the things together, but it does make sense because by making this, we try to bring a patient to receive rehabilitation training in the most lifelike environment with the most lifelike feedback we can provide on their mental intention to move their paralyzed arm. So we move the arm with the help of the robotic device, and we show the patient their first view avatar with their arm being moved, all by the commands of the non-invasive brain-computer interface headset, which recognizes the intention to move the paralyzed arm.
Amazing technology in both cases here. Ray, what convinced you that going with gamified solution is the way to go? I mean, we don't usually think of elderly patients as the target demographic for games.
The very first beginning is to solving the medical resource inequipment distributed in the urban area and also a rural area. But that gamified content is the digital content is the methodology. One is that they don't have there is limited medical resource in the remote area, firstly, and secondly, using game is really increase the motivation for elders. Just my grandma at that time, when we just trying to developing the software, that because I don't have a camera, the screen at the moment, but my grandma just she is already 100-something at the moment. And then every time she passed by the TV in my living room, which is I'm also developing the software, she just has a higher frequency to walk by many times and try to interact with the content. Then I said, that was the moment that she's really interested in the game. Even she's not fully understand what I'm doing, but some factor really attract her to be more involved in the game or in the rehabilitation software.
Curiosity is a powerful motivator there. Ilia, as I mentioned, you have many different disciplines there. VR, robotics, brain control technology. What kind of challenges having this kind of interdisciplinary team that this kind of technology would enforce, what kind of challenges did that pose during research and development?
One challenge you have already named, it's to integrate several different complex technologies together, which is not easy. Everything should be seamless, very well synchronized, and very sophisticated inside. And at the same time, it should be simple to use. And this approach imposes lots of technical challenges. And specifically in our field, we use brain-computer interface, which is a non-invasive sort of brain-computer interfaces when we read a very noisy EEG signal from the surface of the head. And to find the proper patterns, brain waves in these noisy signals, another substantial challenge to tackle.
Is this kind of interdisciplinary approach a common thing that you see in the age tech space, Ilia?
I would say not too much. Normally, people try to keep it simple and use one technology, maybe two. We combine three, and I know some people think it's too much because it makes the entire thing complex. But we assume it will pay back by efficacy of rehabilitation because we address the most severe paralysis where a simple solution are probably not enough effective. And once we have restored the motor ability in largely and severely paralyzed patients, we can send them to raise firm to get rehabilitation when they can be more active physically with their now restored bodies.
Well, Ray,
I mean,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I see Vibraint several months ago that I highly value that they use the multimodality and try to do robotic control and robotic training. I think that was in the mainstream because it's something that they ought to be. There's one very important thing. There was the direct messages from your brain, and also do some robotic training. Especially for the robot. The main purpose of robotic rehabilitation is because it provides resistance training that was currently our VR or AR cannot do exactly. So. Yeah, this is what I think that this is also both of us are invited at the same place to discuss the future of rehabilitation or the long-term cares. We have each individual has his things, but we also have some room for improvements.
It is definitely something that will only grow in importance as time goes on. Well, Ray, you've mentioned that already briefly, but one of the benefits of having tech solutions, mostly software-based tech solutions, is the fact that they can be deployed outside of big urban areas and big clinical centers. So is software like yours suitable for remote deployment outside of a strictly clinical setting? Or is there always going to be a medical professional involved, or should a medical professional be involved at all stages?
From either just the main purpose of this company or from the marketing strategy that conquer to the medical center, which is top-tier hospital, to get the convincing and also collaborate with some validated research is very, very important in Asia. That so our job is to use the same system, conquer some of the either it was acute, just a stroke of Parkinson's disease patient, so that we published around 20 papers working on the efficiencies. But meanwhile, if there was have to become a successful business, which is that you are not in the Ivy Tower, that this system has to be widely used, not only in the hospital, but also you have to widely be used for elder people. It's really a product that can really bring them to health. So, but this is not our strength. So we focus on in Taiwan, this is a very good place. Then we just developing the product and also validate in the medical center and do the clinical researches to validate its efficacy and efficiencies and deploy by the channel which is distributor.
I do want to go into entering other markets a little later in the program, but let's stay with the technology itself for a bit. Ilia, user feedback is a very powerful tool for software developers. And part of your solution is software, but it also involves hardware. So I'm curious, how does user feedback influence what you do? How do you incorporate that, and which stage of the development?
We try to communicate to get engaged with the end users, which means clinicians, but also patients, as often as we can. And I can tell you that it plays a very important role, and maybe in a very unusual manner, because this feedback makes us to simplify our hardware and to simplify the use of our software at every next step, because you cannot even imagine how simple people would like see the technologies, especially when it comes to clinical life, because the biggest challenge for clinicians is time, and this is their biggest constraint. No money, no lack of valuable means to treat patients. They need time, and that's why they would like to see one button, like start and stop at the same time, and they would like it to be like any technology, simple to set up, easy to use, easy to start, easy to stop, easy to deploy, easy to move. And I don't know, maybe Ray would confirm the same observation from his practical view. So that's why we make our technology simpler and simpler every next time.
Well, Ray, how did user feedback shape your software over the years?
I would say the product was in the very first beginning, the first 3 months, there was a disaster at the moment. They crashes, and also the user feedback still had a lot of room for improvements. People in Asia grow up with a lot of strict competition and examination. So we have a group of people playing together, but people like to outreach other people. So the design of the game is that every people has the score on their self, on the image of the shows on themselves. There was an AR displays, but people like to say who is winner. So they will just very simply increase their motivation. And also elder people, when they're at their age, they don't have YouTube, they don't have Facebook. So when they see there's only 3 or at least 4 TV on the screen. So I think the background information is that they feel if the image can show on the TV screen, it was a great honor for them from their past experiences. So we also project the images and also make it AR immersed into the scenario to play the game. The simple modification can always increase the motivation and compliances.